"Help me!" Michael's screams echoed through the abandoned house. He pounded on the locked door, his breath coming in ragged gasps from the darkness behind him. Footsteps slow, deliberate, inhuman. He turned his flashlight toward the staircase and saw it. A twisted, shadowy figure, its eyes hollow. Its grin impossibly wide, Michael stumbled backward. The walls seemed to close in. The whispers grew louder, no one leaves. And then everything went black. Michael was a 28-year-old urban explorer. His YouTube channel was all about abandoned places, haunted houses, and exploring locations that no one else dared to visit. One day, while searching for his next adventure, he came across an article about Blackwood Manor. It had been abandoned for over 50 years. According to local legend, everyone who had ever entered never came back. The house remained empty for years, but it was never truly vacant. One article read Michael was skeptical. Ghost stories, urban legends. He had heard them all, but he had never seen anything real. So he made a decision that night he would go inside. Michael arrived at the house just before sunset. It was massive, its towering silhouette dark against the crimson sky. The driveway was cracked, the garden overgrown, and the windows somehow too dark. Too empty. As he stepped out of his car, a gust of wind howled through the trees. For a brief moment, he thought he heard something. A whisper. Turned back, but when he looked around, he was alone, ignoring the eerie feeling. He grabbed his camera and flashlight. He approached the front door, reached for the rusted doorknobs, and the door creaked open on its own. Michael hesitated, but then with a deep breath, he stepped inside. The air was heavy, thick with dust, and something else. Something rotten. The grand hallway stretched before him. Dusty furniture, cobweb chandeliers, old wooden floors that groaned under his weight. As he shone his flashlight around, his eyes landed on a massive family portrait. Hanging above the fireplace, a man, a woman, and their 2 children. But their eyes were missing. Scratched out, Michael swallowed hard. Creepy, but just vandalism, he muttered. Then something moved. A shadow, but not his own. It slid across the hallway, disappearing into the next room. Michael's breath hitched. He pointed his camera toward the doorway. "Hello, is someone there?" Silence, then bang. A sudden thump echoed from upstairs. Michael's heart pounded. His camera flickered for a moment. Just an old house settling, he whispered, but deep down, he wasn't sure as he moved deeper into the house. He found a child's doll lying in the hallway. Its face was cracked and one of its eyes was missing. Then he saw something even stranger. A mirror broken from the center. He shined his flashlight at it and his own reflection smiled back. But Michael wasn't smiling. His stomach dropped, the air around him grew colder. And then he heard it, a voice, a soft pleading whisper, "Help me." Michael spun around, flashlight trembling. There was no one there. He tried to shake it off. "It's just my imagination," but then his flashlight flickered. And in that brief moment of darkness, he felt something breathing on his neck. Cold, shallow, inhuman, his entire body froze. Then a loud crash from upstairs. Michael's instincts screamed run, but something compelled him to go up. The second floor was worse. The air was thicker, suffocating. The doors down the hallway were all open except one. A single locked door. The whispering grew louder. "Help me, please." Michael reached out as soon as he touched the doorknob. The door swung open on its own. Inside was a small room, empty except for a single wooden chair. And sitting on it, a figure, small hunched face hidden in shadows. Michael's breath caught. "Who? Who are you?" The figure slowly raised its head, and that's when Michael saw its face. Or rather, the lack of it. The thing lurched forward. Michael stumbled back. The shadows in the corners began to move. The whispers turned into screams. "No one leaves." The door slammed shut. Michael pounded against it. He pulled, yanked something. Grabbed his ankle, a pale, bony hand, cold. Rotten fingers tightening around him. Pulling him down, the floor beneath him began to crack open. Darkness swallowed him whole. And then everything went silent. The next morning, Michael's car was still outside, but there was no sign of him. The footage from his camera was later found, the last frame. A close-up of his terrified face frozen in a silent scream. And if you listen carefully, you can still hear his whisper inside the house. Help me if you thought this was terrifying. Wait till you hear about the school where the students never leave. Watch the next video if you dare.